The second step in the money laundering and terrorism financing risk assessment is customer risk, which examines the types of customers that your organization typically deals with, the location of customers, the nature of business activities that your organization's customers are engaged in, and whether any customers are domestic or foreign politically exposed persons. The customer risk assessment is itself broken down into 4 key parts. The first part is the location risk assessment, in other words, the domestic and international footprint of your customers, and the percentage of your customers that are operating outside of the domestic country in which your organization has its registered office address. You are required to select all countries in which your organization has customers and make a determination of the proportion of your organization's customer base in each country, and our country risk reference data automatically calculates the risk exposure based on the proportion of your organization's customers operating in countries which might be higher risk from a money laundering perspective. The second part of the customer risk assessment is the business risk assessment, which seeks to assess the types of business activities that your organization's customers are engaged in. The drop-down list outlines those occupations and business activities that are commonly understood based on international guidance to present higher money laundering and terrorism financing risks. You are required to select all business activities that your customers engage in and the percentage of customers in each. The first 2 parts of the customer risk assessment are collectively referred to as customer footprint risk. The third part of the customer risk assessment is the politically exposed person risk assessment, which seeks to assess if your organization deals with higher risk customers based on whether they appear on certain public or privately operated watch lists of politicians, criminals, criminal associates, and other higher risk occupations such as magistrates and members of the judiciary. The final part of the customer risk assessment is the customer type risk assessment, which seeks to assess the proportion of your organization's customer base by type, for example, individuals or non-individuals, such as publicly listed or privately held companies, trusts, partnerships, associations, registered cooperatives or government bodies, which have higher risk exposure from a money laundering perspective based on the potential to establish complex ownership and control structures that might be used to disguise the ultimate beneficial ownership structure of entities, which has the potential to expose your organization to money laundering and terrorism financing risk as a result of not knowing the true identity of your customers.